in a row. Frostgearin, thank you so much for your analysis on the desk. We're going to get into the game, and she'll help us break down the series, or potentially the game, if not potentially the series afterwards. Already, you can see double AD carry, banned away, Ashe and Kog'Maw. That means Varus is becoming a high priority pick for EDG, and Fizz will be popped back over to OMG.
Yeah, so again, Cannon ban, but Ashe alongside it means that the Elise goes unnoticed. OMG may actually look for an Elise as their second champion of choice. Fizz naturally going to crop up as one of the most important champions.
Very high priority in the LPL during the playoff season. With that Varus for Zet, he's going to be feeling very happy that he gets to take that yet once again. And now OMG looking for something a little different, as Gragas is going to be the pickup. This was the champion that they won with in game number 2 for World 6. Question is, where does that Fizz go? Does it go up top for OMG or back towards Icon in the mid lane?
And most importantly, by picking the Gragas, yes, it's a good flex alongside the Fizz that's already gone mid, but you're giving EDG, you're giving Clearlove the Elise, something that has been banned from him, and they pick the Renekton to go alongside it. So they've got the tankiness, the survivability in that top lane 1v1, even if it is the Fizz going up there. And you would expect that this time around, Icon gets a champion that isn't the Fizz, just based off how the last game went.
Yeah, we'll see what it is going to be as we enter now into our second set of bans. Caitlyn is the pickup for Smlz. He gets to take that bottom back into the Varus, and with Karma banned away, we no longer have the hyper-aggressive duo down there, though there are still some champs available, as Syndra is now banned away from Scout, and with the support in mid laner still potentially an option, they are going to start targeting away Icon.
And they didn't ban the Echo first. They banned the Ahri. So curiously, we'll see if they just continue and they just ban them in a different order for no reason. Or if the fact that the Syndra's already early banned, it'll probably be alongside the Orianna, that maybe Scout has something up his sleeve to deal with the Echo.
OMG now looking at their final ban for what could be their last game of the 2017 spring season. With the clock counting down, looks like it's going to be Lulu banned away from Meiko, trying to remove that safety from the bottom lane. But there are still a lot of supports available.
Now, we did mention potentially Orianna. However, it's not going to be banned, so they may look towards it here for Scout. Of course, with OMG having the first pick, they could put priority on the mid laner, but you're expecting their support to be locked in.
It's a question of how much do you want to play this against the likes of EDG versus how likely do you think they are to play it. LeBlanc banned away from Icon, so 2 of his assassins removed, getting into this second phase. And now OMG, what do they show? Support or mid?
It should be the support, but unless they really want to get the Thresh in early, maybe take it away from Meiko is always a possibility.
Oh yeah, the Thresh is actually going to make it through 4-5, so Thresh Caitlyn could very well be the bottom lane for OMG. A huge combo, not quite as aggro in the minions as the Karma Caitlyn, but still great at finding picks.
And then realistically, you'd be looking at the Malzahar. I was going to say, they're beating me every time. I want to say it. They're just too quick. The Malzahar, of course, with the Thresh locked in, Lulu and Karma both gone, is the natural next pick of choice. And now they actually lock in a big one for Scout.
Yeah, Jayce in the mid lane for Scout gets to take that against Icon. He will have the luxury of counter-picking against it, but it is going to be difficult because Scout's Jayce is something to be feared.
And you have to wonder now, they know it is going to be the Jayce mid. The Fizz should still stay in that top lane. It has a good matchup in a Renekton. You don't outright lose against the Renekton, even though he's a bully champion. And so you pretty much always call that a win, which is why we should be seeing the mid laner go here for OMG.
Yeah, that's Taliyah now locked in for Icon. Unraveled Earth is great for trading with Scout, especially if you can pop him up with a seismic shove beforehand to make these trades extra unfavorable, but it will be difficult for Icon to sustain in this lane. We'll see how he does, because OMG, they are hedging their bets on a bit of a team comp, a bit of an AoE composition. They are looking for the chaotic 5 versus 5s in which they thrive, whereas EDG seems like they've picked for lanes.
Yeah, EDG have got pretty dominant laning phase alongside OMG, honestly, so if either of them are picked for it, it still will go both directions. It's more of skill matchups across the board.
Okay.
EDG have picked themselves a lot of single target again, which is when we watched OMG win in Game 2, the reason that EDG weren't able to win. They had a team comp similar to this, but Jayce is able to complement that this time around. Elise has a bit more incidental AoE that's going to be there with the spiders as well. So I think EDG have actually said, this is what our Game 2 comp was, but we one-upped it. We got one better, in every single champion. You know, Elise, not such a selfish pick like the Kha'Zix was, can help the team out, can actually generate picks with crowd control. The Jayce, same thing in the mid lane.
Yeah, we'll have to see if Clearlove continues to see success on his return here towards the LPL, as EDG are now 1 win away from closing off their 2017 spring season and claiming 3rd place. And though it isn't first, it isn't second, it's still definitely something to be admired, though. It is interesting that we are seeing the legacy 2016 version of EDG, not Fire Lolly, not Mouse, showing up here, but still, a win is a win.
And they have not been subbed out at all, so we're consistently keeping the same roster for the whole series. Clearlove does have a lot to prove for himself. He's been underperforming, or so the rumors go. In scrims, Fire Lolly just seems to be the better jungler of choice. And so he wants to get himself on the main roster. He'll need to step up, especially come Split 2, especially come the World Split for EDG.
And this actually looks like, even if they win here, this will be the lowest that EDG has performed since summer 2015, where they placed 4th place in the playoffs. So it has been a year and a half since we've seen EDG this low, but even so, they're still in a conversation for the best teams in China. And they are now continuing this in game number 4.
It just proves the fact that on the day EDG can still lose. They're not going to be that invincible team we saw going to Worlds last year. 4th place in a region where there are 4 strong teams just means that there are sometimes teams that are better than them on the day, which speaks well towards the whole league.
Yeah, it certainly does.
Even Icon's screaming with him.
Yeah. The team chants coming out a little bit late as we load onto the Rift here, but they come out nonetheless. The OMG fans ready and prepared for a 5-game series. They want this to keep going. And OMG will actually go for a very fast invade to the red buff of Clearlove. He's going to head on up top along with Scout and some help from Koro to
Icon's going to try his best as well, see if he can steal some with a Q.
1. And now he actually gets a lot of those hits onto Clearlove. He's at such low health.
Yeah, notice that Koro started to tank for him as well. He may actually smite the Raptor just to make sure that he can secure it. He'll be smiting as a last hit though. That way he's going to be healthy as OMG.
Yeah,
that just flanked with Gragas.
Yeah,
this is level 2
going on in. That's exhaust as well. Flay to pull them back. Double exhaust.
Nah,
and
what?
Flash is going to knock it up. Auto attack Piltover. Smlz gets first blood, but he loses his own support in the process. OMG, ladies and gentlemen, they will do anything to take it to game 5.
That was straight up aggressive. The gank in the bottom lane does not give the kill to Gragas, who has done 1 camp and has to leave with no flash, but they get a kill nonetheless. Smlz flashing forwards, giving himself the edge by staying alive as top lane's got Clearlove.
That's Ignite. Xiyang is almost going to solo kill, levels up, gets the stun, they've got the burst, he tries to go in but doesn't have the cooldown. Koro now gets a kill against Xiyang, and OMG are raising the stakes. You don't need to play so recklessly. What makes them feel like they have to?
OMG may be raising the stakes, but EDG did still match it, especially with what just happened in the top lane. The best part about it is that the confidence from Koro to walk forwards, get level 2, use the level 2 spells to get a stun off, have the health to get another Q out and heal. Very clever out of Koro. The communication was there, and with no flash from Xiyang, the early Ignite, there was no chance of a kill.
Absolutely. So close, but just not quite close enough. That's the teleport used by Xiyang to get up top. The only thing he's got to his name is a control ward, plus that corrupting flask. And Koro, meanwhile, did complete his own recall for some health, and Xiyang goes right back in.
He'll still win the 1v1s for sure.
Koro's still hanging on to his flash.
He's got W, that'll be potentially kill. Just no Ignite.
Yeah, he's just waiting on the burst. Ooh, that's flash now burned. He takes 2 turret shots off the back of this, and OMG are showing up bottom again with World 6. Clearlove has actually completed his recall, and Koro, he's got the Rage for a stun. Can he burst out this Fizz? Get some good damage. Xiyang turns it around before leaping back away. Hugely volatile top lane. Potential dives down bottom.
But hugely volatile is still favoring Koro. The fact that there was 2 tower shots tanked by Xiyang actually loses him this lane. Remember, this is that point in the lane where teleports were used. So the person who wins lane from here just wins the lane. So that is Renekton right now. He has the CS advantage because Xiyang's attempt at diving him really far was too far, and all of the minions were at the turret. So Xiyang loses everything and more for this. Koro can push to the turret, either keep the Fizz down low or make him recall, and this is a cannon wave that he's potentially about to miss. So big win from the Renekton, big loss from the Fizz.
Yeah, you can see Xiyang doesn't even wait to stack up his full health and mana before racing out. That cannon will crash in and soak just a little bit of time, but with Clearlove on the bottom side of the map, World 6 was feigning up there just in case to defend if Clearlove wanted to show up. But after all of that early excitement, we finally start to see some standard lanes in the mid lane, even CS between the two, despite the initial trading that Icon did with his regular trading pattern. Of course, Smlz in 5, continuing to shove down bottom as they did get that first blood. No recall out of Smlz just yet, so he's still sitting on that extra gold. Clearlove is still bottom. He'll be spotted if he makes his way down there. Lantern. Excellent Lantern to soak some of the damage from the Malefic Visions.
There is no Lantern, though. Clearlove didn't actually reveal himself, I believe. And so there is an opportunity still available. They pinged where the ward was, because the Lantern was used. Remember, that's 20-odd seconds of potential collapse.
And we're not seeing a ward over the wall to clear out the blast cone, as excellent scouting from World 6 sees Clearlove and forces him away from the jungle, so now they know to play back nice and safe, defend that bottom lane.
Yeah, they also have no wards anymore. The one in the river has just died for them. So EDG full control now on this bottom side of the map. Full control, but also the minion wave pushing in. So they can't freeze, they can't utilize the advantage they have. They have to hard push this one in and try and actually force a reset, because they're at risk of dying now. Even though they have the wards, they're still at risk of dying.
They see World 6 is there. There are so many pings. And that's recall actually out of Scout. No teleport available from Koro. World 6 still looks to go in. He doesn't have Flash, but 5 does.
Oh my
Catches
God.
a Voidling.
Everything about Meiko just then was fantastic. He has the passive up, so the Flay doesn't matter. Voidling to block the hook. Take that, Thresh.
World 6 actually loops around. His flash has come off of cooldown. He could look for it, but he's got no follow-up and decides to back away instead as Smlz returns to the minion wave to collect his much-needed gold.
And that's the thing, right? Like, the gank opportunity is always going to be there when the minions are pushing towards the turret. But if the opportunity is there and your bottom lane overexerts themselves to get the gank off, they're missing minions. And so if they actually push past that many minions to try and look for a kill, it's not always going to be a win, especially if the kill's not secured. Yes, Gragas has Flash, but EDG have all 4 summoner spells themselves. They don't know where Clearlove is. It's super risky to wrap around the Tribush twice and not expect an Elise to be nearby.
Yeah. They did just see her walk over that ward in River, so they're sitting back nice and far. World 6 recalled in Try, just to make sure there weren't going to be any shenanigans if Clearlove decided to show up as he heads over towards his red buff. So Clearlove has been going for a hard farm this game, going towards a quick level 6. World 6 ganked several times and was able to help find first blood with his bottom lane, but not been able to do anything since. Meanwhile, top Xiyang has been trading with Koro. You can see that CS deficit and the assist advantage for Koro, and how far back Xiyang has to sit.
He's trying his best to keep control of his lane, Koro, but he has finally come to terms with the fact that by harassing his pushing, there is a risk of him dying, however, now that Fizz is 6, but...
Yeah, sees it on a ward. Slight hesitation from World 6 means Koro just dashes back.
Slices his way out also. There's an opportunity for Xiyang, if nothing else, to trade just because of that fact.
And with the vision in River, they now spot out Clearlove as well. World 6 is on that side of the map, and there is some assistance. World 6 is just outside. He's going to find Clearlove around the corner. 5 showed up as he completed his recall. That's Weaver's Wall. They are taking a lot of burst. The hook catches Scuttlecrab, not the priority target.
Whoa.
What a great seismic shove. Tags Scout. They managed to get the kill. Koro's in the back as he teleported in through the turret, and he's trying to get even more. World 6 flashes back and will die as Meiko follows through. Koro's still going, but Icon is just firing shot after shot. Meiko soaks one shot. Look at the damage that those Voidlings are doing. Smlz is going to be knocked forward,
Meiko.
And that is not enough. Meiko will die as Icon is burning down, but survives. Even the AD carry of Smlz walked there.
And look, Smlz 5, they rotated. Zet did not, but Meiko certainly did. 3-1 on the Malzahar. Almost gets an extra kill with the red buff, but Icon's able to collect that buff and keep his life, albeit barely. Pretty tense fight, honestly, from both of these teams, and it starts with Icon cutting them off, forcing them into this position, but Xiyang rotates in. Koro also brings his way through teleports. and he is a massive Renekton. Takes so much to actually prevent him from getting kills. Fortunately for EDG, Meiko is there to collect these kills, and with the army of voidlings that he picks up for himself.
That's so many.
If they didn't actually pass away due to time as well, almost an extra kill.
Absolutely, but taking a look, it's 5-5, so it was a slight advantage for OMG. That's 2 kills onto Icon. He's got a massive amount of gold afterwards. Zet was farming bottom instead of collapsing, and now red buff as well, so true damage onto the turret. And meanwhile, another 2 kills onto Icon. He's got his Haunting Guise, finished up a Ninja Tabby too. On the other side, all 3 of those kills went onto Meiko.
Which is not the place you want to distribute all of your gold. So Meiko may have to change his build up, either be more aggressive. However, you know, being this fed this early in the game, if you can unlock your support, is still going to be a win for the team. Vision control, always going to be an added bonus. Note that it's a Sight Stone and Mobies compared to just Mobies from 5.
Now Clearlove is set to dive. Xiyang goes in. The Cocoon will miss as Xiyang leaps away. He's got Chum the Waters. Scout is actually roaming towards that side as well.
They're hard pressuring for the first turret blood. Good from Koro to tank that as well. That's what clears the minions. It's now gone.
Meanwhile, the race bottom from OMG, they're trying to rush down to get to the tier 1. It's VF Sword of Smlz versus the flat damage of Clearlove, Scout, and Koro. They will finish it off. First turret advantage for EDG, but it's answered back on the opposite side by Smlz and the rest of OMG.
And the wave's also cleared at this time, so EDG do have the slight edge. Icon's never really had an opportunity to hit the mid lane turret till now. He did get a couple of waves uncontested, so he has a slight edge over Scout. As they do want it.
Yeah, that's just outside of vision. They timed their crowd control perfectly. Poor man did not stand a chance, but that's now no ultimates bottom. Smlz has to walk away as there's a collapse, flashes the wall to escape from Scout as he gives him a pat on the butt to get back to base.
Yeah, he does do exactly that. Icon's the man who has genuine kill threat.
Whoa, Icon! Again, as you're saying it, Rusty.
These guys are just too good at it.
You got to get a little bit faster.
I don't want to speed talk. I'm not a raptor, though.
I was thinking like good old-timey auction. Can I get a number 1? Number 1 over here. Exactly. And Koro dashes in, forces the dark passage as Smlz sidesteps away. Good wave clear to keep themselves safe just outside of the vision from EDG. You can see they're still prioritizing wards around that mid lane, and it is paying off by keeping Scout safe, but as you said, he's still down a few CS. That's another assist for Icon as he's 2-0-3.
There's a lot of damage there from EDG's dealers that were just in that particular bush, but nothing really that's going to grant them a kill. They were more relying on OMG overcommitting themselves. They don't, and so they are able to reset this one once again. This is a good opportunity to push one more wave, utilize that push wave to just get some recalls and get some items. You can tell Scout in particular definitely needs that recall if he's building a tier. Sitting on mana crystal.
Just a mana crystal, sapphire crystal right now. Red buff seems to be the fight for EDG. They've grouped up as 3 and are clearing out the wards. Cocoon goes wide. But they just walk in, see that OMG are ready to fight for it, and decide to back away and return to lanes instead. So EDG are still looking for skirmishes, though OMG find themselves with a slight gold advantage.
And to be perfectly honest with you, I don't think that should be a tier anymore. He'll get it super late.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's not much else that he's going to build out of the mana crystal, but I mean, it's just so late that by the time he upgrades that, we're at 30 minutes odd.
Yeah, and goes for the straighter turret and gets a second mana crystal
Realizing
he has one. And then
now
continues
he just
to sit on it, yeah.
Maybe it becomes a Sheen in the end. If that's not a tier, then what else would it become? He's not going to go Rod of Ages Jayce.
Iceborne?
It could be, but that's also Sheen.
Yeah, so that's odd. Though now we see EDG now rushing back towards mid. You can see the complete dearth of vision from OMG. They've got a couple of sparse wards here and there, but EDG have been running rampant across the map in this entire series with their excellent vision control.
This is actually like a really awkward spot for EDG. They've been spotted.
Xiyang manages to get the knock-up onto Clearlove. They turn onto Koro instead. Smlz shows up before dashing forward. And the Weaver's wall to try to get them away. They leave Koro to die. Smlz used his ace in the hole already, and Xiyang gets revenge for his early trade in lane.
Yep, so they make sure the Renekton is the only casualty of war, fortunately for EDG, but it does give a good opportunity for OMG to actually utilize their advantages. They've got a fed AD carry, they've got a fed mid laner, and the Fizz is starting to rack up some kills for himself, just collecting another there. The bounty's starting to grow on their heads, but if it keeps progressing the way it does, EDG do not have answers. But they're trying their absolute hardest to match every single time.
Yeah, split pushing bottom right now. Scout gets a lot of damage onto that turret. Seismic Shove misses, but he still takes a few hits from the Leandri's burn. Minions, luckily, though, will tank for him, and he has Flash Ignite. Icon is looking for the kill. The Hitman smells blood in the water. Here comes the rest of his team as World 6 is now spotted out by a ward. Scout sidesteps 1, but doesn't sidestep 5, and will take the threaded volley from Icon for yet another kill. They turn now on to that Cloud Dragon to continue taking objectives.
And frankly, that's just super poor positioning out of Scout. No reason to be threatening the turret if they've all recalled, they've all come towards the Drake. They were pushing mid lane. The second they disappear, you leave. But he pretty much dies to Icon, trying to get one more hit onto a turret. Perhaps if he just left 2 seconds earlier, then Scout would be alive. He had the summoner spells to survive.
Stayed instead and paid with his life.
He did go tier.
And finally the tier's completed very late. So that's going to be a very delayed ramp from that Jayce. Meanwhile, Zet is keeping up in CS with Smlz rather well, but he does not have the luxury of those extra kills. You can see Smlz is going for that turret priority build.
Yep.
Once again, BF sword and then flat attack speed afterwards.
Going for the crit build, going for the siege strength that comes out of just having that extra AD. Not going to be shredding tanks though. Koro also not building armor means that doesn't matter too much just yet.
Clearlove and Meiko are trying to invade and set up vision once again on this side of the map as Scout returns to the scene of the crime to look for the exact same play. He's got vision that will spot out OMG well in advance this time though, so this pushes the wave and decides to back away as OMG scramble to recover vision on their side of the map and reset things. Try to maintain this momentum here in game number 4. Set point. If they lose, EDG are in 3rd and OMG are in 4th. But if they win, we go to a game 5, and that is an ace match.
And the name of the game here from EDG is build magic resistance, kill Smlz. Nobody else should die. That is pretty much how they're going to be playing this one out. 2 Hex Drinker builders, Merc Treads rushed. You would expect potentially even the Locket before with a redemption for Meiko. But he needs a bit of health. He's a fragile Malzahar as he currently walks around.
And they are now clearing out the vision. 5 tosses the hook, but excellent synergy from Zet and Meiko to see it coming in sidestep. And now OMG get the chance to look for vision.
They're looking to dive.
Icon's got his ultimate ready. In addition, drops it out. Oh, just catches the Void Shift from Meiko. And now suddenly this push finds itself stalled.
Even the minions can't get to the turret, so there's no chance to siege. Very lucky on EDG's part that the Taliyah wall was timed just a little bit too late.
Yeah.
Wanted to get it as the minions were crashing. That is...
I'm also a bit curious about that angle, sort of coming that far forward. Why not just shoot it across the turret so they have to either walk around or flash?
It blocks off the up exit next to the turret. And they were so far out they could have actually just pathed themselves upwards, perhaps.
I see.
Buy themselves an extra 3 seconds of running away.
EDG, though, invade into the jungle. Immediate flash from Clearlove. We still see this time and time again, though. Zet is left alone in the mid lane.
He's got his team, though.
Yeah, finally able to regroup with his team. But as I was saying, we see this time and time again from EDG. Despite being down in momentum and in pacing, they're still finding these excursions into OMG's jungle. Completely undefended. They're getting vision, and with the presence that they've built, Corum's able to split bottom and finally finish off that turret.
And they're still trying to push down this middle lane turret. They should be able to get some damage onto it, but not this wave. Will it get taken down? Malzahar and Elise are always going to have the possibilities of picking you off, so you need the minion wave to protect you. Damage like that will actually ensure that you will take it with the next wave, potentially. But Renekton also now, spotted through vision, will start to make his way up.
Smlz continues to heal up with that Bloodlust. Pushes the wave in, but luckily Zed is able to get some
Where are you gonna go,
CS
buddy?
back, sidesteps back between them. Smlz looks for it and tries to go for the kill. Meiko's there and he's playing around that. Even Clearlove shows up, but Smlz, hot fingers, this man is warmed up. Oh, the cask execution. That's gonna be a hearty chuckle. You can see even Zet is laughing. And World 6 has got a massive grin on his face.
Just throws out the ultimate. He's like, I wonder what's here.
Yeah.
That is the one person that I want to conveniently recalling in that one unfortunate place.
Oh, I wonder what's in a wonder ball. Well, it looks like it's a tier 1. OMG push forward and break it down. Their second turret of the game. They haven't broken top yet, but they're continuing to rush toward those minions in the mid. And they catch Clearlove with a big pop. Look at the damage Icon is doing before that magic resist is fully online. They've got to respect the Taliyah.
Yeah, again, a great pick composition out of OMG with the Thresh hooks and the Taliyah shoves. The Caitlyn traps are able to bottleneck you into these spots as...
Ooh, they actually set up the Weaver's wall. They're all on the other side. They catch
Malz
World
ulti.
6 through the suppression, through the Dark Passage. Meanwhile, Xiyang gets a great amount of damage. Clearlove tries to get away. The auto is not enough. Smlz goes in and dies. He goes way too far forward. Chain of Corruption catches 5, and OMG are falling apart. Icon tries to turn it around. Xiyang dives into the back and gets 1, but will die as Zet has been free firing, and that's Icon finally allowed to escape, but way too much more than they could chew.
Smlz was more ham than a Christmas dinner, Dom. That was pretty ridiculous. He actually flashed over the wall when everything was still there, up and available. Scout currently zoning away Icon so they can get the turret. Good play from EDG to actually capitalize on it. All stems from an ultimate from Meiko that legitimately cancels a Dark Passage.
Yeah, that suppression movement lockdown, so clutch. Meiko, a huge play. Here that is once again.
Remember, you can see it get thrown out. Watch Meiko. Just straight up halfway through the wall. He almost made it over. Close to killing Clearlove though. The shove's already been used by Icon. Smlz feeling lucky. Now he's feeling dead. The EDG, you're fighting them in their jungle with them having vision. Look at the wards that OMG have in this area whilst all of this fight breaks out. The answer is 0. No wards. So why is World 6 invading with no vision?
Nobody really knows. OMG wanted to try, however, to continue to press their luck, but EDG immediately show that you can't go too far against the likes of this team, as Quicksilver Sash is now the pickup for Smlz with his next recall. Still has not finished off his Infinity Edge, so not quite critting people.
But the big win about that last fight for EDG that really does go unnoticed is that finally we're at a point where gold isn't on just Meiko. Like EDG have only just caught themselves up to an equal place in the gold. They've got a fed Icon to deal with still, but now they've got money on Koro, they've got money on Clearlove, and they've got money on Zet. So they've actually dispersed their gold reasonably well. They just need Scout to catch up a little bit.
They're now looking for the Ocean Dragon as it has spawned, and they do have the fast track down there, though Scuttle Crab was just picked up by OMG. Teleport's ready for Koro, but so too is it for Xiyang if he decides to teleport and join his team. And they're just going to skirmish around Vision while Scout and Zet look for a little bit of harass. So Smlz is sitting nice and far back, plus he's got a red buff to top himself off if he ever gets hit.
Yeah, and an early QSS as well. So he's delayed his Infinity Edge purchase. His damage is going to be significantly weakened for the moment. But it should be a lot harder to kill him.
There are pings on the wards right now from OMG. Xiyang was trying to recall but canceled and continues to push top, so he's still sitting on it.
And Elise and Malzahar very good at taking it by themselves as a duo. They can in tandem just spawn the minions everywhere, and none of them will take damage. So the risk of walking in here from OMG actually trying to contest this objective and take the fight is increasingly difficult. They'd rather trade for gold, and I don't blame them.
Yeah, that's Weaver's Wall down mid lane as Icon looks to cut off the escape and perhaps create a fast track for his team to go in mid, but Meiko might collapse from the backside. Smlz is in the front again, but takes the lantern preemptively to escape Meiko's gaze of terror.
And it's more so to escape the damage from Scout. Remember, the QSS is there. If a lantern presents itself, he could either take the ultimate and then QSS and Lantern out, maybe waste Malzahar's ultimate, which gives them the inside track to sieging top lane, but they're content with just taking the one tower and leaving. EDG have something to say about that trade.
They push right back down the mid lane, mirroring the play we just saw from OMG, getting a lot of damage onto the tier 2, and actually one shot away from finishing it off. Tragically piercing arrow does not harm structures, 41 HP.
Close to taking it down. Would have meant the difference perhaps between the gold values at the moment for these teams, but EDG pretty happy as Explosive Plant gets denied.
Oh,
no, it doesn't.
Is there.
Okay, it does.
Cast. They're all on the other side of the wall. Of course, just going to go the other way, but a great hook and flame pulls him back. But now Smlz gets a big headshot to turn it around. So they assassinate Xiyang with, Koro with 4 members of OMG and now reclaim Vision.
Caitlyn has learned a lesson today, a very valuable lesson, as we do get to see how all of this breaks out. Actually cancelling him halfway. The map decided not a good idea. Smlz sees a free kill, sees the free kill almost kill him.
Yeah.
Almost regrets his life.
That feel when lunch tries to eat you.
That sandwich had teeth.
And now EDG are trying to recover. This is a brief window of opportunity for OMG. Still a very close game. This is anyone's game. If EDG win, they close out the series. If OMG win, we go to a game number 5 for the worst performance for EDG since summer 2015, a full year and a half ago.
Smlz definitely still scaling up though, having the Infinity Edge available finally.
Yeah.
The damage is very real from this Caitlyn. Zet's gone more of a survivability and tank busting route. He's up against 2 big tanks, and Thresh can also frontline and stacking health with the redemption first. Still a lot of damage to come out of him, just not onto the carries as much as what Smlz will have. When he crits, it hurts.
It certainly does. And now we're at about the 25-minute mark. Things are going nice and slow as the teams are just sort of pacing back and forth around each other's vision. Smlz just headshot for some health. That Bloodlust giving him quite a bit now as the Runons clears out that minions so very fast.
That one hit.
He's really trying to defend it.
Also a lot of magic damage as well from Clearlove, so they have mixed damage everywhere. Malzahar and Elise doesn't feel like it'd be a lot, but the way they've built definitely will still be at least from one of them.
Yeah, Smlz is holding the fort down in mid lane, effectively 1v3, 1v4 holding it. Finally, the minions are there. He's clearing them out. The cannon shoots. That's actually Weaver's wall to deny the escape. That's Meiko, the target. He's got flash, yeah. But they decide to get out. Very clever, hopping the wall to look for another kill, but they decide to turn it around. Koro's split, Xiyang, tank versus tank. The other teams decide to zone around each other. Meiko still zoning with his own flash Nethergrass.
That's a lot of damage from the Jayce.
Yeah. Smlz needs to heal up. There he goes, getting one big headshot and trying to get even more.
Still a good outcome from EDG. Turns out they're not done. They might want some more. But the fact that they did live there, utilizing the Taliyah wall, which unfortunately just missed the edges, didn't have to use a summoner there, Meiko. They changed their target. 5 literally flashes the wall to try and hit somebody that was locked up by Xiyang's ult.
And you gotta love them for making that sort of aggressive on a dime pivot.
But realistically, what should have happened is Taliyah brought the wall down, and then 5 walked as they were knocked up.
Yeah, but that would have made sense.
Just saying.
That would have been perfect League of Legends. Rusty, this is 3rd, 4th place. We've already seen the team make mistakes. It's a chance for redemption.
You got to start referencing foods at the moment to get to me. I'm hungry.
Oh man, we're just gonna do
an LPL you keep referencing food, man.
I actually haven't even noticed. Maybe it's my subconscious speaking and I'm starving. As Ace in the hole onto Zet. Now it's OMG pushing back for the tier 2 of their own. Meiko zoned away by the rest of their team. Koro shows up, but Smlz will finish off the turret with a final hit.
And this is where the inside track for the middle lane actually belongs to EDG. So they're just going to go straight down mid lane. Xiyang is fighting bottom. He's got a Trinity Force, so he's gone for the split pushing build. And he's already got it up and ready. EDG's response is push mid, pressure them, bring them there, but go straight to the Baron where we've got the vision set up. I'd be surprised if they straight up start it, but they will look for kills if OMG come around. At least it's what that is a lot of damage.
Yeah, well, color me surprised because they are doing it. 5 goes in, the hook misses, Chain of Corruption onto World 6, the jungler. They're turning it into a fight, and they have enough time to finish it off. Baron picked up as Koro teleports in, and now they just have to survive the fight. Weaver's wall denies any escape as Xiyang leaps into the back, has found Koro, trying to kill him, looking for the cooldown, and that's a flash. They trade top laner for top laner. They go in, Scout tries to get the kill, but Icon is firing shot after shot. That magic resist is going to have to pay dividends. It's 3 versus 3, no, excuse me, 3 versus 2 as they get another. World 6 still in the back, running for his life. The Lantern sidestep, 5 covers his jungler, and Icon will tag Meiko. No, he won't. The threaded volley just out of range. Baron picked up by EDG, but they lose the following fight.
Yeah, but by having the Baron, perhaps they've given themselves the necessary tools. Meiko has the Baron buff, so the support of the team, who is always going to be grouped, will have the buff. That does mean turrets can start to fall down for themselves, but we are still seeing the team fighting of OMG when it actually comes to fruition. EDG decided they weren't team fighting. That's the thing you'll notice here. They back away, and then they realize that perhaps an opportunity to fight has presented itself. Xiyang and Koro just duke it out inside the Baron pit. They actually agree to a gentleman's 1v1 with no health between them, and now they're stuck. EDG has said, hang on, we can do this. Thankfully, Scout reactively finds an opportunity, flashes the Caitlyn trap to come in and last hit him, and then Zet thinks he's out, hits a trap, definitely not out.
Yeah.
And this is that point where World 6 gets saved. OMG, they're doing a Drake.
They do. They take Cloud Dragon on the way out. Their second Cloud Dragon of the game. I'm not sure if that was before the 35-minute mark or not. But either way, this is still Baron on Meiko and Clearlove. Though it is a 2,000 gold lead for OMG, we're still seeing EDG match them on items, match them across the map, and try to close this series.
And if you're watching this series at home, you may have noticed a trend. Pretty simple trend. But Icon's scoreline is now 6-0-5, and OMG have a gold lead. Whereas last game it was 1-6,
and they had a gold
lost.
deficit, yeah.
Yeah. I know, it's crazy, right?
Icon's so huge for the team. We've mentioned him being an emotional rock. If he's popping off, he's really popping off. Seems like this is one of those games as Weaver's Wall finds Koro. He quickly hops his way over with a quick slice. And with the shots that we're seeing out of Scout, Smlz has got to respect them. Even though he does have a lot of regeneration with his Bloodlust, might need to look towards some defensive items. They've still got Baron for another about 90 seconds.
EDG are very aware of the Taliyah ultimate, though. That's one thing you can say. Every time they come out, they're backing away before it actually does connect. The minion waves and perhaps the timing is slightly awkward from Zet and when they're using it.
Ooh, Cask from World 6 is going to miss Scout, but Xiyang continues to follow.
Scout.
John the Waters actually hits him, and the hook pulls him in as well, but Redemption as well. Koro comes in at full health. Look at the AoE out of EDG. Smlz will try to turn it around. Xiyang is tanking the Nethergrass. Clearlove eats a few shots, headshot onto Zet, and Smlz continues to chase with Icon. Suddenly the fight is being turned around as they kite it back and forward. Minions now going to block that death sentence. He's following through, ace in the hole. Scout is going to survive, but only barely sidesteps the barrel, but World 6 has got him pinned. He finally dropped. They turn now onto Koro. He slices away, slowed by another great barrel from World 6, and OMG are just chasing down kill after kill after kill.
And Zet just walks onto a trap and basically is the reason that all of his team starts to suffer. If you're meant to be doing damage, Smlz is doing a lot more damage right now in these fights. Scout kicks it off by getting locked in. The Redemption resets Scout. He does still do a lot of work, but at the end, OMG as a team, their carries are free to damage the entire time.
It is such a close match and has been such a close best of 5, but now OMG, despite pushing into EDG with the Baron, starting off the fight on the back foot, find themselves turning this around once again, prepared to go to yet another Game 5 as they're 5,000 gold ahead of EDG. They've got those neutral dragons, and there will be one more Elemental Drake. You can see the Infernal in the pit where Xiyang is having himself a nice nap. But this is game number 4. This is no longer a match of winning. This is a match of perseverance.
You know, every game that I've casted in the playoff storm has gone to the max amount of games.
5 games, Rusty.
Every single one.
Whew.
Without fail. I'm just going to go ahead and say that the producer's at fault here. for putting me on this
scheduling
set.
you for today.
Yeah. If he didn't want 5 games.
We can hear him laughing in the back. That's
actually not joking though. I've been to max every time.
Yeah.
Which means, you know, by default now, OMG are totally going to win this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're primed, and well, of course, it's a cast or curse. Now that you said it aloud.
Listen, what if I've just like doubled up the curse and no one knows the outcome?
Exactly. Do 2 lefts make a right? Nobody knows. Yes, it's 3 lefts. World 6 now looking for a flank along with 5. They've got Vision. Xiyang split pushing bottom. Koro is shoving top, but doesn't have teleport, so he has to complete a recall. That wave will push for him, but he still needs to be grouped with his team. So OMG are playing 2 waves, whereas EDG are playing 1 and defense.
Now EDG are locked inside the base. The defense is a lot easier to play from this position, but Smlz is setting them up and bottlenecking them so that last hitting is a difficult thing to do. Clearing the minions is always going to be a challenge. Koro's presence should be enough to let them get in and clear these waves. You are looking, however, at the 1 minute and 20-second mark until the Baron is up. That is what OMG should use to break this base. If EDG play this particular part of the siege fine, then OMG never get in. But with the Baron buff, they can't clear the waves. They actually need Zet to step up to hit the minions to clear them at all, and that is when they strike.
Ooh, Koro very patient, taking the minimal amount of damage from Icon. As you said, just ducking back and forth between these turrets, trying to play the siege.
Zet needs to calm down.
Yeah, he is just taking a lot of damage. And, all right, as you said, Baron 60 seconds. Recall completed out of Xiyang. He shows up top. You can see Recall being staggered from Icon, Smlz, and 5 as they look for some big items. The base is defended without being broken.
The one saving grace for EDG here is that Xiyang's Recall to set up top wave to push top in gives time for Koro to actually slow push bottom. And so EDG, if they can hold on during this Baron dance and their bottom lane wave will stack up, they can actually set up the minions. But he also doesn't have teleport, so he needs to leave halfway through this wave if he wants to be there as the minions spawn. The Baron, rather.
Xiyang might be a little overextended here as he just takes the Dark Passage and makes his way out. Blue buff was picked up by World 6. He did smite it. Weaver's
Icon just got himself stuck in a raptor pit.
He just wanted to hang out with the birds. And that is a lot of pings.
They're telling themselves to back away, I guess.
Yeah, those were all on Icon. And they're sitting just outside of vision. Steps forward for the hook, but it is sidestep. The Shock Blast now scouts it out. Chain of Corruption catches Icon.
Smlz.
They've also tagged World 6. Smlz cleanses very early. He's skirting around the edges. They've killed World 6. That's the first tag, but Xiyang has joined the fight. The hook on the Zed is massive. Smlz is stunned, though, but has no follow-up. Flashes back. They need to get Koro off of him. The Shock Blast as well. He's trying to heal up, healing as much as he can, but Koro is primed. Flash from Clearlove to try to get in, and Smlz is still alive, still firing shot after shot. Koro gets one. Scout is waiting just outside of vision, and there's a Guardian Angel. Ace in the hole. That finds one. He turns onto Koro. That's going to be the ace for OMG. 23-14, 35 minutes in. They have managed to win off of the back of Smlz's damage.
And there might be enough time for them to just outright finish this game. Unlikely given how early we are in again. There's still only 20 seconds on Zed. Xiyang assassinating him. That's going to be at least the inhibitor here for OMG. And the one last defiance coming out of Edward Gaming, pushing down the middle lane. The damage was there, but it wasn't enough to actually take out Smlz because he stays alive. The damage from this Caitlyn is just unparalleled. And this all starts from a hook from 5 right here. He somehow just finds a way in onto Zed. Just splits it because EDG were all above him, and then Xiyang just has a one-on-one, dukes it out. Meiko no ultimate, no chance to save his AD carry. 5 unfortunately missing that one, but Clearlove going too deep onto a trap. Again, everyone's biggest nemesis on EDG right now just seems to be traps.
Yeah, cupcakes, the worst weakness of all. And ace in the hole is enough to finish that off, and they casually walk away from Koro. Smlz absolutely massive at 9-2-8. Meanwhile, Baron was picked up by OMG on the back half of this. Infernal Dragon being taken by EDG. Weaver's Wall pins Zed in. He's stuck. He's got nowhere to go. Chain of Corruption, but the AD carry is dead. Yeah, you've got the Infernal Dragon.
Clearlove has no flash.
Clearlove has no flash. A massive mistake as OMG punish EDG.
And that's potentially just going to be the game. They're against a Baroned up team, and they decided the Infernal Drake was worth a last-ditch fight. They didn't actually want to fight. They were caught out of position, so now OMG run it down the mid lane to try and finish it off.
Oh man, flash cast. They're going to try to end the game right here. They've assassinated Smlz. Now they need to try to turn the rest of this around. Icon has finally joined up, but the AoE has already been distributed. Scout goes down. Meiko soon to follow. The last survivor is Koro, and he is making a run for a fountain. But ladies and gentlemen, 4 versus 1. OMG have done it in game number 4. They are going to kite Koro out and eventually kill him, but that is the extended ace. Rusty, we're going to a game 5. OMG, take the Nexus and run the distance.
They definitely are going to be able to end this game, so we go all the way, deciding who the 3rd place team is going to be in the LPL for split number 1. Night and day performances from Icon between games in this series. He looks good, they win the game. He looks poor, they lose. This time around, he looked fantastic.
And this is the best we've seen out of OMG since 2014 summer, where they placed 2nd in the summer playoffs. It has been 3 years since they've made it this high up, and now they are 1 win away from being a single spot away from that. It has been a long journey, but they are finally able to do it. Now here to help us break down that game is Froskuren.
Do you remember who OMG faced in that final?
It was EDG, wasn't it?
And do you remember what happened?
I do not.
OMG got 3-0'd, and they surrendered back-to-back games at 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm. And now they're running the gambit back to EDG. Yeah. As you said, Froskuren, OMG have never won a best-of-5 against EDG. Now they're 1 game away.
This would also be the 2nd all-Chinese team that EDG would lose back-to-back, so they dropped to RNG to even end up in this match, and now possibly looking at dropping to OMG unless they can clinch it here. The comeback kids, the comeback kings. OMG, they're
man.
unstoppable.
It's just only taken them this many years to pull themselves together. And again, 6 months ago, they were a game away from being relegated to the LSPL. Now we're seeing them take these fights against EDG.
It's worse than that. This OMG squad wasn't just almost relegated once, they were almost relegated twice. They've gone through promotion 2 times with this exact same roster. The only adjustment that they've made is Shui to World 6. And Shui is still on the roster. We saw him filling in the mid lane for Icon when Bad Boy Icon decided to step out of the lines. But just so much faith and confidence to develop this type of skill.
Yeah, and it definitely shows the trust that we see from Smlz. Knows when to go forward, knows when to rely on his Thresh, and rely on his team to keep him safe.
And frankly, the only misstep that Smlz made that entire game was that fight at 19 minutes over the red buff when he flashed over the wall. That was the sick lockdown that started with Meiko. But then Smlz was like, cherry on top, flash from the wall, and I'm into it a Renekton.
Yeah.
And the problem is that after that fight, Renekton already had a Hex Drinker, and so with the Hex Drinker and his ultimate, he was already ridiculously tanky that early in the game. But then after the fight, he gets 2 more pieces of MR, and you're like, Smlz, you bought QSS, so you're looking to counter out Malzahar. You just put that much more of a delay, so you have to extend the game, wait another 10 to 15 minutes before OMG are able to capitalize. But that's fine because EDG completely blunder their Baron. It goes back to Smlz. He gets his armor penetration, and then from there, you can't stop the Caitlyn.
Yeah. Again, the ideals from EDG, they were building for it, they were setting up for it, is kill the Caitlyn and no one else should be able to kill them. Even though there was a fed Taliyah, there was mostly magic damage users on the team, but they could not kill the Caitlyn after that QSS. It was actually impossible. He hard carried every fight.
Yeah, so much was thrown at Caitlyn to try to kill him. Here's that fight at the Baron that we were talking about, and just look at how Smlz tries to kite this out.
He just plants his feet right now. Just looked at Renekton, continues to push him, kite him off to the side. Meanwhile, Icon gets into the back line. Will delete Zet off of the back of a sick hook from 5. But Smlz, just super confident this entire fight, laying down the auto attacks, never backs up.
Constantly trying to pull EDG into them so that Caitlyn has a nice place to sit back and plant down.
The most important part is the strength of Warlord's Bloodlust, because he went down to 200 health at least twice throughout most of these fights, but he just got 370 health back from literally just the Warlord's Bloodlust. It looks like a heal, like it's a summoner spell every single time he gets
the ace
it off.
on the hole, yeah.
Because he crits with it. It's like why Jin goes for it.
If that Shock Blast had killed him, that would have canceled the ace in the hole, and he would have, Scott would have survived. Icon, though, is going to get MVP at 9, 1, and 12. Like we said, this guy is the emotional rock for his team. When he is popping off, you can see the gold difference.
And the thing is he's on the Taliyah. It's the zone control champion. He's the one who's sculpting and setting up these fights. So he's controlling all of the terrain for Smlz to move around that arena that he sculpted.
And when it succeeds, it's great. Of course, we've also seen a few times where it doesn't quite succeed, and EDG are able to just kite over the wall. Though we did see some very creative pivots from OMG, flash hooking to try to catch someone out of position. But we're going to a game 5. This is EDG versus OMG, and it has been years since OMG have made it this far in playoffs. It has been years since EDG have fallen this far down. It's a huge storyline either way. Who takes this? It's a tough question.
I think a lot of it actually does stem from drafting phase. It's very hard to just tell you right now, this is the winner.
Sure.
I feel like, again, EDG, when they have a lot of single target, they start to fall down. But if they can actually play the map how they did in the early game and continue it through more aggressively, I think they'll be fine.
Yeah, well, we'll have to